Okay, no, not yet. Come on, a little higher here. In a minute, we'll start our live. I hope everything is going well with you. Okay, it's 8 p.m. and today I'm on an adventure in the morning, November 20th, 2024. Today's live is titled Dana. Dana is the name I give to a neutral spirituality. Spirituality intrinsic to DNA. Dana means any type of spirituality linked to DNA. Why is that, Jackson? Because man's spirituality exists, even in the way plants are born and grow and animals. Spirituality is not something that is the result of the human mind. No, spirituality is the result of DNA itself, and DNA is life. That's the thing. Sometimes the human mind can throw a spirituality, a way of believing that even destroys DNA, it destroys other life systems. No, spirituality is intrinsic to DNA. Spirituality is intrinsic to life. Spirituality, I always say that the spiritual side, the spirits are our ideas, our memories, okay? But all of this is the result of what comes from outside of you and that you have perceptions of, okay? Even animals with plants don't have memory. They have a little memory, okay, of how they will grow, what kind of fruit they will bear, how they will recover the broken branch. They don't have this kind of memory, but they don't have a brain. If they don't have a brain, they don't have a mind. The mind needs, it requires a central nervous system. Yes, but do mammals have a mind? Yes, every animal that has a brain has a mind. The mind is the result of this. According to Damasio, according to what I also think, it is the result of the deep sense together with the position of the body in space. All mammals have a mind. Let's go. But today we're going to talk then, focusing on this intrinsic spirituality of DNA, with our main objective, and you'll understand in a moment, is to bring you prosperity. Now, where you are with what you have and where you are, prosperity now. This will happen more or less halfway through the live towards the end, okay? Until then, we'll have a short talk. So, okay. Dana, the spirituality intrinsic to DNA, intrinsic to life, intrinsic to this intelligence that is the DNA that is inside the cell. Look, we have billions of cells, okay? Okay, today, the basis of Dana is seeking a secular state. Why a secular state? A secular state. It is a state that should allow. Today we are in the secular cross, a cross on top of justice, a cross on top of all public bodies. This is not secular. It is not secular at all. Despite Dino, Zan, and Devatara, it is not secular with the cross on top. It is not secular. So the harm as a secular state is to make individuals feel what a religiosity does to the body, to your feelings. So Buddhist religiosity with meditation, those beautiful things, sitting, meditating, what do you feel with that? So religiosity, the secular state, allows individuals, the population, to feel what this religiosity and that religiosity causes to the body. When you feel the mind changes, that's it. Do you see? That is the secular state. I allow the mind of each individual to change according to what he wants to feel about this or that religiosity. Secular state. So the secular state has a lot to do with this feeling. If you are feeling, if you are feeling you are integrated into this state of the secular, so what? Feeling all religious beliefs. It is not tolerating other forms of religious beliefs. It is feeling, okay, well, today we find ourselves in an irresponsible state. Why irresponsible? And he is secular, Cruz, irresponsible because he abandoned the citizen. The state is there, blah, 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 and abandoned the citizen, and even more irresponsible. And he has an article in our Constitution, which is Article 142, which is exclusively for carrying out a military coup. There is an article in the Constitution exclusively for military coups. We have a nice article there. Oh, the army can enter if there is a conflict between two of the three powers, and then they will put in a GRI, a guarantee of law and order, simply to carry out a military coup. So our Constitution provides for a coup. That he be nice. So somehow this has to come out. And the top brass of our defense system, like the kids Pretos, who you've heard of, they are experts at lying to the population and creating subgroups of internal terrorism and lies on the internet, lies, lies. So they turn the population against the state itself. Supreme Court, you may notice that some time ago everyone was attacking the Supreme Court, attacking the legal system. Why? If the executive branch attacks the legal system a lot, now Article 142 comes into force to guarantee law and order, and it is a military coup. So our Constitution has this blind spot, a special Article 142 to carry out a coup. And what's more, there's a cross over the records, the meetings in the legal department, there's a cross over them. We're not secular and we're not even that democratic, and we have an article ready to carry out a coup. This will have to change little by little to get out of this coup stagnation, to get out of this. This is not today's topic, but it's good to talk about it. I talked about it so that you can understand this damage and the spirituality intrinsic to DNA. Because spirituality, when it is not intrinsic to DNA and it is focused on the mind, these elite groups of the army, of the high command of the army, manage to change the mind of the population with lies. Lies, lies, and the mind changes. And then your religiosity becomes distorted. And you can, and it happens like our new suicide bomber. In the name of freedom, go and take a life. There is no freedom without life. This is a winding up that passes to you, and this winding up is typical of something so petty. How will you have freedom without life? But believe me, because the mind is distorted. We'll come back to this a little more shortly, but let's focus on this intrinsic spirituality of DNA. I came into contact with a culture, and I even bought an object from that culture, Bribi. This is an object from the Bribi culture, an Amerindian culture in Costa Rica. Bribi is in Costa Rica and belongs to the Talamanca community. It's the Amubri of Talamanca, okay? This little thing here, look. But the Bribri, why am I talking about the Bribri? They are an original people who were here before 1500 and had ideas and some concepts. The concept that I am going to pass on to you today about this original people who are the Bribri from Costa Rica is about prosperity. Sometimes I don't believe that the Shine says that prosperity is spiritual well-being. Spiritual well-being, prosperity. Yes, he says that spiritual well-being is a gratitude and respect for what sustains life and a symbiosis in the environment where his audience is from Costa Rica. It is a symbiotic relationship. It's a mix, plants, animals, and food production, that mix of Bribri. And prosperity for Bribri is spiritual well-being. It's a relationship between humans and other living beings. It's a relationship between DNAs, of different DNAs. Not a relationship for me to go and deforest and destroy the ecology. No, it's a relationship embedded in technology, okay? The concept of Dana that we have put forward and that we want to leave to the states in some constitution, the broad states, is a concept that will redefine spirituality, and it will be placed as a universal biological process connected to all forms of life, of a continuous flow of vitality and interaction with the enjoyment of the present. A lot of words, right? A lot of words. It's like this. You arrive at a square and you have the sensation of body and territory, your body and the square and the living beings that are in that place. Or if you arrive at a reserve, you have that sensation of you being that forest, being those living beings. Feeling body territory is a feeling that involves everything around you, spirituality, intrinsic to DNA. Not just yours, the DNA that surrounds you. Understand, it is the DNA that surrounds you. Ours, we have different types of DNA because we have some methylations, right? It will change a little and gain from living beings around us. We will try to balance my what surrounds me with different DNA has prosperity for the Bribli of Costa Rica. I went there and there I bought a souvenir from this community. Okay, let's go. The mind and its beliefs. Look at that. Living beings, even though they are blind, can have a mind. But the mind does not have beliefs. The mind is within the belief. When you are believing something after this child as a baby started to imitate the parents, the mother imitated the language, imitated the habit, imitated eating the same food, that way all those rituals, the child begins to have some beliefs, and his belief leads to a differentiated sense. This differentiated sense, this deep sense, gives rise to the mind. So the belief begins to have a mind. So you think, oh, my mind, I have several beliefs. No, no. Every belief that you have developed in your life will hijack your mind. Hijack in a good way, not in the bad way of, oh, you hijacked my mind, now I'm lost. No. You know that when you believe in this, to believe in that, to do that, it's important for you. But when you believe in this, your mind is hijacked for that. When you believe in this, in teaching a class, in doing something, writing a letter, writing or painting, you believe in it. If you believe in it, your mind has a bias of not understanding it very much, something separate from it. So the mind emanates from your belief. Your original mind is you simply feeling the depth of your body and the position of the body in space. You don't live only with the original mind, you live doing things, brushing your teeth, it's a habit. This habit has already entertained this original mind a little. No, because now I'm inside a habit, but a little higher, a belief. So inside a belief, it's already different, you know. Even when you work, you have the belief that you'll get your salary at the end of the month. So your attitudes are already being modulated by this belief. So you will always work with beliefs, you will interact with belief, with the desire to explore or see some things with belief. So you don't have the belief, the mind in your beliefs. Belief itself causes a different mind to emanate in you. For example, there are people who really believe in life after death. Okay, I respect the belief in life after death. But since you believe in life after death, you have a belief that can sometimes deny the well-being of another type of DNA, another type of creature in the present, because you think that this well-being can occur after death. Calm down. I'm not. Belief in life after death can give you a bias in life now. It's important for you to know that belief in life after death stops you from take responsibility for things in the now, because later some divine being will resolve it. It is a belief that has already been established. This point is a serious point. Our late, whoever believes in life after death because there are things, doesn't just look at it. He is kind of buying into the future. If you understand me, who is a Buddhist, believes in another incarnation. It's all very complicated for those who believe in life after death. But what I want to say is that in this belief, depending on the country, that group I mentioned to you about special operations in the armed forces, types that despise, enters into the population's beliefs and introduces the conspiracy theory. To put an end to a social rebellion, to stop the social rebellion, that's where the guarantee of the hate law comes in, because there's already an article in our Constitution that can lead to a constitutional coup. Somehow we have to remove this article from the Constitution. I doubt it very much, because we really are in this irresponsible state. But it's interesting, this community, this desire to manipulate public opinion, will manipulate based on the beliefs of the majority. That's what's important for you to know. When you manipulate public opinion, you'll take a point and anchor in what public opinion believes. From where you believe, lie based on what you believe, because if you don't believe in anything, it's no use. So I can't make a conspiracy theory about someone who doesn't believe in that. So if you believe in something, okay, then look, freedom, I don't know what, and I'll lie, you'll believe, or I'll believe too, and I'll get into the conspiracy theory. Look, the vaccine will be bad. This conspiracy theory brings a lot of people together. It gets a lot of votes. It puts politicians in. A great conspiracy theory that is really cool and that occurs to us is if the army manages to make a social rebellion by controlling the legislative and judicial branches, and now has removing the powers of the army itself. And based on the Constitution, in Article 142, something impressive when we arrived. Let's go. Fundamental principles of prosperity, Dana, which I learned, this prosperity, Dana, spiritual prosperity, I learned from these bribery, which is this symbiosis with the environment. First, I know it's boring to make a list, but I'll do it so that it's a quick list. I won't say much so that we can follow it. First, harmony with nature. In order to have prosperity, you need to have harmony with nature. You see, I'm not talking about money. There are people who believe that prosperity only comes with money. Of course, our state is irresponsible, and by being an irresponsible state, it leaves the citizen craving for money, because if they don't find the money, how are they going to pay the rent? How are they going to pay for food? How are they going to pay for groceries? They need money. So prosperity, which would be spiritual well-being, was diverted to prosperity being the accumulation of riches. It was diverted. That's why I always use these very Amerindian, very root theories to find out what true prosperity is. Prosperity is synchronicity. It's not an idea from nature. Two is a collective. It's a collective. And solidarity is us together and everyone helping each other. And that's prosperity. We together, where everyone helps each other. Look how beautiful. The third is spiritual well-being. It's the second, actually, even there. Spiritual well-being, which is precisely this spiritual well-being. I'm talking about spirituality. It's your memories, your ideas, your thoughts, this personal spiritual well-being. You understand? You with yourself, you're fine, you're synchronized, you're in a state of enjoyment, you're fine. When the state is irresponsible, you're out of money. Sometimes you have to run after money. So you don't let it May prosperity invade your life. You will have to, if you are hostage to money, why is the state irresponsible? Fourth, social and environmental balance. Society in this region, in this biome, cannot have more than 5,000 inhabitants in this small area, so I will reduce it. Look, the city cannot reach that much. It has to be less. No, here it can. 1 million inhabitants, 10,000, 10 million inhabitants, it can. In this area every day, it will not destroy the biome. No, but here we have to have a bigger clip. There are few people here. Here we cannot have this or that, because that will degrade the environment. You cannot build a road through here and destroy a specific species of animals, because Dana respects all DNA. Just because it's the DNA of a tiny spider doesn't mean that no one appreciates it. Satan will respect that kind of life. How is that? She is there, and we have to respect it. This gives real human prosperity. It's not that you're looking for money, 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 other. Respect for natural cycles, the rain cycle, the moon cycle, the year cycle, it's spring, it's summer, it's autumn. Where to plant, what to plant, how does ecology work, how do we do it? Let's respect this natural cycle. Sixth, Now let's put my finger in the middle, okay? Ethical regulation of social networks and data mining. What is that? If I'm in Dana, it's in my DNA, but if I'm in the social network and it doesn't have any regulation, I'm going to be affected. I'm going to be out of line. And the social network and data mining are taking all my data and manipulating me. I mean, it has to be regulated. It has to be regulated. What kind of regulation? The social network that is mining my data, you have to give me a report on my vulnerabilities, and the state, being responsible, has to charge its population for data mining and not leave it like that, without rules, without regulation, free personal data mining. It was really trash. You won't use it like that. It's lithium. There's a lot of lithium in the country. You're not using it anyway. Let me come and explore your lithium, your oil, your mining. No. Human data mining is a given. From the government, from the state, and the state leaves it free to mine, leave it there. No regulation and ethics on social networks and in relation to data, okay? So, Dana, he is offering it to you, and what I want to offer you, someone says like this, but Jackson, is it a religiosity? No, it is a secular religiosity. Dana is a secular religiosity based on being a secular religiosity of the state where everyone has to feel the different religiosities, okay? So Damage offers a vision that integrates the harmony necessary for a full present. You are full in a sustainable future. You are full in the now, and the future is sustainable, and you are full in the now feeling prosperity. How will you feel prosperity? You have the so-called synchronicity with the different DNAs that are around you. I know that when we lose a little synchronicity, we resort to some artifices, okay? One of the tricks that I notice, and this is my opinion, is that I notice that when you start to lose this synchronicity, you start to lose this root spirituality before belief. When you start to lose it, you start to have no meaning in life. And then you will have to adopt a pet, a dog, a cat, something, to start to feel different DNAs close to you again. You don't want to be near a tree or anything like that. You live in the city in an apartment, so pets sometimes come to fulfill a need to have contact with original spirituality before a belief. The pet will not have the belief. The pet is purely original. Normally, everyone has a pet with a brain. It's hard to have a pet. At least I don't know anyone who has a pet without a brain. Pets are, for the most part, mammals. But there's Zepto, there's something. I get a little lost in this world of so much complexity with pets. But for me, it's precisely the moment when, full of beliefs, I have a pet at home, dog, cat, parrot, I don't know what, and that gives a different mood, a synchronicity with this spirituality that I call Dana, which I call the spirituality intrinsic to DNA, to the relationship of different DNA, including all the life forms it has. DNA, obviously, okay. But I talked about the state, and I said that the state is irresponsible. Yes, because your body, it gives energy to each cell for it to survive and produce. The responsible state, it would provide conditions for prosperity. Direct citizen. Direct citizen would be the income each citizen has from the profits of the state itself. But then we're going to talk to the minority of the population, 1% of the population, more or less 1%, a little bit more, okay? But 1% of the population, the richest of the population, they have the best public positions or indicate the best public positions, the entire structure that we have of the three powers. Furthermore, it controls the military and also this population. It does everything it can to make us think that the state it attacks so that we reduce state spending and increase interest rates. So you can notice there is a speech, interest rates have to be increased. The dollar has gone up, interest rates have to be raised. Look, it has gone down. Look, it is good to raise interest rates. Look, the number of employees is increasing. It is good to raise interest rates. Look, there are a lot of unemployed people. It is good to raise interest rates. So raising interest rates is a constant. And they talk a lot of blah, blah, blah to raise interest rates. And the state reduces expenses, reduces state, reduces state, reduces state. But the best positions in the state, judges, prosecutors, administrators, are appointed by or are the children of these super rich, this 1%, this upper class. Of course, they will not always be in the state, but it places them. If you look at all of our judges, all of our prosecutors, everyone who holds a position in the state, and even in the army, the high-ranking officers, you will see how many percent are black, right? How many percent are black in the poor class? No way, no way. There is no percentage, okay? There is no percentage. It is an elite that controls the state in all the best positions, and controls the financial system to reduce the state and increase the struggle. That's it, blah, blah, blah. Reduce the state and increase profits. There is no other way to talk about it. And sometimes when there is a military coup, this thing becomes very beautiful. Because then what happens? With the military coup, it becomes easier for companies that are extremely rich to simply not have a bidding process, to have nothing, to make the sale and greatly increase profits. And these companies you saw this week, even Haddad talked about it, the profitability that the government, that the state does not have by not charging taxes to some companies. It's billions. Yes, but these companies have Congress and they don't let the tax happen. They manipulate the state has to stay small, and the interest rates are high, and the exemptions for large companies are high too. Did you notice why? This thing, then you can't walk in spirituality. You have to look for your money. I have to look for money, man. I have to work and earn money. So the state doesn't do as the human body does, giving energy to the citizen so that the citizen seeks his efficiency and seeks a way to evolve in life, a way to reproduce cells, the citizen guiding cells. No, no, I'm going to exploit the citizen himself. So the state is there to bite because it's an irresponsible state. When the direct citizen comes, this possibility will exist, 2026 or 2027. That's why I'm beating this up, because if that happens, your survival will be guaranteed by the state. And if the educational system is not privatized, because if 1% wants to privatize the educational system so that they'll never be questioned about the high interest rates, the high income, and the large properties they own, then you understand who. We have to ensure that this society has its costs covered, but also a good education. Why? So that Brazil can start to have a productivity power, especially in services, software, artificial intelligence. I am very happy that China is going to partner with Brazil, and we'll have a partnership in artificial intelligence. And China's artificial intelligence is even superior to that of the United States now, okay? Artificial intelligence is very high. Artificial intelligence programs use that, put ecological responsibilities in these algorithms. Damn responsibility, the one I told you about, this syncretism between humans and nature. Make these social media software respect that. Irregular social networks. If these children, if they have the money to survive like ordinary citizens and do not have an inclusive, true education, they will spend all their money on Betty, on Tigrao. They will spend all their money on social media. They will join hate groups, fake news groups. They will conspire with the state, together with the military personnel, the defense system, to trigger Article 142 to guarantee the order to carry out the constitutional coup. Did you notice? Education is important, but it is a strong education, an education showing that all this knowledge, this education, and this technology always go back to the origin, to the DNA, to other species of life, to harmony, the real prosperity of you and those around you. The spirituality intrinsic to DNA is a feeling before believing. Look how interesting, right? Intrinsic spirituality is feeling before believing. Yes, but sometimes there are some feelings that you can't have. You can only have them after believing in this religion, this religious line, that one. Okay, but feeling is more important than your belief. You need to feel everything and develop your feeling in your body. And the intrinsic spirituality of DNA is feeling before believing. That's important. It's feeling. And this sense, even if you believe, you will not lose yourself in your belief and you will feel it, enjoy it. Those who like this more Christian part enjoy Christianity, enjoy the hymns, the songs, the music, enjoy it, get goosebumps, feel it. Just feeling. Belief is not so important. It led me to feeling. And feeling is important. Feeling is more real than belief, than speech. And that is important. If you cling to dogmas and ideologies, you become a follower. And you may have your life cut short. And you may be convinced that, look, I give my life for my freedom. There is no freedom without life. These are statements that are made to the population and generate this suicide bomber that has now generated for us a lot of conspiracy, intrinsically linked to people in our armed forces who have been trained since they were little. People like Sid, like the other one who was talking to him, the Colonel General. They are trained to perform social manipulation. Our population was manipulated by the armed forces, part of the armed forces, not all of them, to come and carry out the coup. We are in the middle. And they used Christian spirituality to attack. Christian belief was used. Life after death was used. Freedom, I don't know what. Anger and hatred were used to attack, to disrupt the way we see life. And man, go back to your original mind. You go back without language. You go back to the 2 or 3 year old you. Go back to your feeling. Oh, but I'm a Buddhist. I believe in that. I feel something good here. So feeling is better than believing. Even if you believe, feeling has more emphasis. It's more important. There are people who believe even but can't feel some things. And they keep going to that same religiosity to see if the feeling comes, because in fact it's the feeling that matters. And this sense is you, it is your DNA. And by respecting the DNA that surrounds you, for you to enter the process of prosperity, there where you are in your home, on your farm, on your site, in your square, sitting on a bench in a square, you come to prosperity feeling this synchronicity between you and other living beings. And you synchronize, not destroying nature, but integrating yourself with nature. Folks, that is what I wanted to leave with you this week. Until next week.